Hey you, so on this video, why gold will be going to $10,000 soon, I'm going to be going over a few points, to give or take 3 or 4, as to why I believe we will be seeing a $10,000 gold price soon. Even plus, obviously, £10,000, $10,000, however you want to see it. But, you know, I'm going to be going over just a few reasons led by a few conversations I've had recently with some individuals and just give my thoughts and opinions as to why I think we will be seeing a $10,000 plus an ounce gold price soon. So obviously, before we jump into this, if you haven't done so already, it'd be fantastic if you go ahead and subscribe if you like what you hear. And also let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments as to what you think I'm saying, whether you think along the same lines or whether you totally disagree. It'd be fantastic to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Obviously, saying soon, whether we're adding it onto the title here, is very subjective. So I'd love to hear if you believe that's the case, when you think soon is. You know, soon's going to be different for everybody. Soon could be 1 week, 1 year, 10 months, 10 years. That's the same timeline I gave to silver recently in another video. So let me know what you believe, or how long or short you think we may be seeing these high prices, and I'll just jump into a few reasons as to why we're going to be seeing these prices. So I've got a range of gold coins in the background here. I've got these 50p Royal Mint coins that I'll be displaying. I believe these come in at ½ an ounce each, so pretty decent value for money. I have these 5 sovs I've got here, and also a number of 1 ounce coins that I've got from a lot of other mints, and 1/4 ounce proof coins and 5 ounce coin. So I'll be showing these as we go along. So jumping straight into this, one of the reasons why I think that we'll be seeing a 10k per ounce gold price soon is currently, with the current climate, I think fiat markets are going to push the gold price into technically all-time new highs. Depending on where you're viewing this from right now, country-wise, gold is currently at a very high price. It could be an all-time high within a good few, 5 or 10 years where you're viewing it from once again. So I think currently, with the very weak fiat market we have, especially in GBP, Great British Pounds, where I am at, recent dump, and we haven't even had the Brexit info come through yet, I think that's going to be playing a massive role as to why we're going to be seeing brand new highs in gold, i.e. $10,000 plus when we're talking an ounce of gold. Now, I will mention, we recently saw it when we're talking the recent spike in Bitcoin. Many didn't know where it came from, and when you're talking Bitcoin, it can really be from anywhere. It's not technically heavy manipulated yet by some of the elite and some of the cowboy traders out there, but exchanges can play massive roles when we're talking manipulating the Bitcoin price. But what we're looking at is what I believe we're going to be seeing when we're talking the fiat prices looking weak, and we're going to be seeing a lot of savers, a lot of wealthy individuals taking their money out of whatever they have their money involved in, whatever savings vehicle or investment plan or whatever they've got, i.e. what I was referring to when we saw that recently happen with the Yuan, I believe it was, and a lot of Chinese investors jumped into Bitcoin, taking their funds out because the Yuan was tanking, as we'll get onto that in the next reason. And we saw a massive new spike in Bitcoin in such a short period of time. Now, some currently say this is what we're currently seeing now when we're looking at the new spike in gold as time of releasing this video. And it can easily be the case that I believe we're going to be seeing with gold. Now, first off, what type of person is in a situation where they have the means to be able to have savings, or be in the green, whether we're looking at 6 digits minimum, and being able to take their money out and then pump it into something else? It's going to be a very mindful type of person that's really watching the markets, and that's not your average Joe. Especially when you have a large amount of funds, you don't want it to be in a recent, I believe the stock market's taken a recent tank also. So when you normally see things like this, but pre-Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, even though I believe that has slowed us down, we would have seen a lot more, even newer highs recently jumping into the shiny metal here. And once again, I'll be talking about why I believe it's going to be gold over silver, maybe touch upon that in a moment. But people have always taken their money out of one and jumped into the other because they don't want to be losing purchasing power. And so I believe once we saw that recently with Bitcoin and what it was able to do, and now not to forget how I view Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been around a lot shorter than gold or silver has been, especially gold. I'd say its reign has been Bitcoin, talking here 10 years. And within that 10 years, at the time of releasing this video, we have seen Bitcoin at lows that gold's never been, and also at highs that gold's never been. And so if you can see that in something that many still, will, you know, those that just don't want to be involved, call nothing, then you can understand why I can see a new super spike in gold price, and it's well overdue. You know, depending on how you look at it, whether you see it via the Rickard's M1 or M2 supply, gold is well due its next jump up. I mean, we've seen gold, I've seen gold at £200 per ounce, you know, pound sterling we're talking here. We're now looking at £1,200, so that's an extra 1,000 plus, and this was around 2005-ish. So we're way overdue. The climate is very, very rocky at the moment. There's a lot going on. Who knows what's going to be that final trigger? I don't think we're there yet where we're going to be getting, you know, hellfire outside. But I do think we're going to be seeing new markets for the physical, and especially the gold here. It's nothing that's going to be out of the norm. I think BTC is going to be going a lot higher. You know, and there's a lot showing that a lot of money has recently come out and gone into there. And I've heard stories of people that was able to make from the recent pump, you know, just from putting their savings into BTC, being able to take the windfall, split the profits and pump it back into the gold stuff. So this is also something that's happening out there. So this is one of the reasons why I believe we're going to be seeing a massive spike in gold, the 10K spike real soon, you know, a lot sooner than later. And that's purely because of the current weak fiat that we've got going on, and I think a lot of currencies are going to be getting hit in the coming days, months and years. So tagging off of that same reason, I would say trade wars are playing another massive role, identical to the weak fiat currency. But I think with, you know, currently we've got madmen at the helm. You know, and it's the main culprit obviously is Trump. You know, he's trumping everything up. I somewhat get Trump in that, you know, he's the type of individual that is going to say, you know, we don't need to bite them, just make them think we're going to bite them. And it's worked for him so far. You know, you take this or you take nothing approach. But he's playing chicken with a country that technically he will end up losing more or everything on the tail end of it. So his approach, depending on which country he's dealing with, can be the right approach. You know, as long as they think they're going to get a spanking, it's best they comply. But it only takes someone like China to say, we no longer want your bonds or something of that nature, and US will be in a lot more pain than China would be. You know, of course, it all comes tumbling down and unraveling. But I think he's pushing himself into a corner where he's now having to backtrack, whether it's with the Huawei decisions he made and, you know, lax, and he's losing face, and I don't think that's what he wants to happen. But also it's going to look bad on him if he doesn't follow through, and this is what's leading to more and more of a push, and why we're seeing people creep more and more back in. Of course, we're seeing BTC going up and down within such short periods of times. Less than 2 weeks ago we was around 7,300. Now we're damn near back up to 10K. And that's because more and more people. And, you know, it's the norm coming back into gold. As I've mentioned in many other videos, the wealthy have always done that throughout time in history. It's always the one you want to go back into because it's physical. It has a very solid market known as real wealth and real money. So that's never going to be an issue. But, you know, with BTC, i.e. Gold 2.0, now in the horizon, and seeing what a lot more people, it only takes a fraction of the wealthy to pump their money into that to see massive gains, depending on how much money these people have, or we're talking here. So seeing things like that, it's, you know, gold reaching its current highs right now and tagging along. You could easily say, you know, many say once gold goes, silver follows. Well, it's looking more like once BTC goes now, gold follows. But at some point, you're going to have real big money pumping back in. And this is where they're going to go to. They're going to go back to the shiny stuff. And these current trade wars, which I don't see no cease or no end to anytime soon, are really egging it on more. If anything, it's showing people what can happen if they don't really get a line and start to protect themselves sooner than later. Some got wiped out in 2008, some didn't. But I think everybody's now feeling the pinch with the current climate and what's going on in the world, that they're not willing to take that chance, especially with you know who at their helm. So we're seeing a lot more money now creeping back into gold. And when that's what we're seeing with these current little pushes up, I believe it's only going to take the next big massive spike up in BTC purely from people pumping their money back into it, where we're going to see a lot more people running back into also gold, as we're seeing right now. Now, The next reason I would say is your average Joe stacks silver. Silver's had a massive push from, a big YouTube pumpers, influencers, pundits, however you want to look at it, people selling the stuff. And it's done fantastic. It's done wonders for silver in general. But your average Joe stacks silver. When we're talking gold, we're talking countries, corporations, billionaires, millionaires, very wealthy people, drug barons, cartels. It's always and always has been and always will be the true currency. Underneath any type of what you would call a Ponzi scam, be it BTC, cryptocurrencies, be it, fiat currencies, gold is always going to be seen there as true wealth, true money. And this is what we're seeing when we're going to see people flooding back into gold. Regardless of what's out there, whether it's BTC or whether it's the fiat currencies, gold is always going to be viewed as money, wealth, by the wealthy. These are going to be the people that lead the charge. So when people get scared, looking at who has wealth today, that's more of a rarity. Your average Joe doesn't have wealth. You've got more people drowning in debt or living in debt comfortably than people that have funds and have wealth. These people, there's a couple of things that's a learning curve for these people that I've seen, and that even silver could be a learning curve. A lot of the push for silver it's a whole new thing when you need to be taught that it's so rare. It's used in so many things, and then the likes of. But a lot of the times when wealthy people may look into that, depending on who we're talking here, they may just see it as an industrial metal, and that's how a lot of people will push it across. It's an industrial metal, and they may have the smarts to know, okay, it can't never go no further. Look what happened to the Hunts or whoever, whereas gold is gold. There's no denying that. To the best of my knowledge, it is an industrial metal to a very tiny degree in comparison to silver, but it's real money, it's real wealth. So once we get more of a push of that money coming in, then it's going to be a massive tidal wave. Touching off of that, there's a lot of countries out there that trade very little silver. And I had somebody recently commenting in one of my comments, he's out in the Middle East, and I've spoke with somebody out in the Middle East before also, and they was mentioning that, of course, if you're a dealer, you're going to have some silver there, but in comparison to what you sell, even when you can look at the Asian market, gold is king. So you have whole countries where it's only viewed upon as gold, number one. They need that learning curve. They need to be introduced into silver. A lot of the times now, some of the big pushes on silver here is when the people can't get gold, they'll turn to silver. Well, people can currently get gold, so we're not currently at that point. If that's when the music stops, everybody goes running for chairs or the exit moment, well, then we'll have to come across that bridge when we get to it. But currently, the real money or any incoming money or even new money all goes to the shiny stuff here, the gold stuff. And this is the reason why I also believe it will shoot to new highs. And then when it comes time for silver to follow, who knows? Everybody has their own reason or their own tell as to why they believe that's the case. I have tuned or tweaked my understanding of that in recent days. And, we'll get to a video on that at another time in another place. So there's countries that sell very little in comparison to gold. So it's big money out there in the Middle East, and it's gold is viewed as number one. Gold is traded, gold is purchased, silver is silver. It's either the collector coin market, which many large money is not involved in, or it just isn't. So taking that into account also is the reason why I see we'll be seeing 10K gold soon, because many already hold it or many are going to be purchasing it. That's why I believe we'll be seeing a 10K. Another reason, just touching upon, this isn't something that I've done myself, but in the past I've been asked about insuring the precious metals, gold and silver, and to the best of my, it's not something that I've been interested in personally, but I've heard people mention when they've been speaking about that, it wasn't something that insurance companies were doing, and that is insuring their gold or their silver. But somebody recently told me that they was able to get their bullion insured, but the insurer would only insure their gold. Now, I found that interesting in that I personally believe they wouldn't have looked upon the silver only because they would have viewed it more as an industrial metal. Or I don't know. Now, I did ask the difference between jewelry and the likes of, and that also came into a different kind of subcategory. Now, I know if you have some type of a securical box, you can get the box to a certain value. But then if you have to also put down the contents, then that may be an issue in terms of claiming if you ever do need to. But I also found that interesting that they would only insure his gold bullion as is. So whether that was Krugerrands and the likes of, that was very interesting. So seeing how corporates see it in terms of insurance corporations, that they only view gold as wealth, who knows? You know, we never did get to the bottom of why that was the case, but it was only the gold bullion. So that's also very interesting to hear and see that, you know, some insurance companies, if they do, like I said, it's not something that I've looked into in the past, but interesting to hear that somebody that has got it done, it was only their gold bullion they was willing to do. But guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. As mentioned, soon can be whenever. If you also believe and agree, do let me know in the comments. But it'd be fantastic to hear your thoughts and opinions on this video, and anything or any input that you may have to give in the comments. Once again, if you loved what you hear, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.